Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we've got a massive stack of articles and research here.
We really do.
And they fundamentally challenge how we view the simplest thing we do, just moving. We're going way beyond just fitness or exercise. We're looking at sources that classify proper movement, not just as a wellness habit, but as, well, required medicine.
Right.
The mission for this deep dive is to connect two ideas that seem, pretty far apart: optimal spinal alignment and this huge nerve called the vagus nerve.
And show how they're central to everything.
Everything, from how you handle stress to your long-term cognitive health.
And really, for anyone listening, this is a deep dive into your body's own internal control system. The information here is kind of a shortcut.
A shortcut to what?
To understanding what some people call your body's innate intelligence, its own wisdom for self-regulating and healing. We're going to connect physical structure, movement, and the nervous system.
And show they're completely inseparable.
Totally inseparable.
Okay, so let's unpack that core idea right away. Movement is medicine.
Yes.
The research is just so insistent that the human body was built for activity. But modern life is mostly sitting.
So much sitting. Commuting, working, eating.
If we could zoom in, under the hood, what's the immediate consequence of that kind of stillness?
It's catastrophic on multiple levels, both mechanical and metabolic.
Okay, start with the mechanical.
Mechanically, movement is literally the life support for your joints. Take cartilage, for instance. It doesn't have its own blood supply.
Right.
So it relies completely on the motion of the joint to squeeze in nutrients from the fluid around it.
And squeeze out waste, I imagine.
Exactly. So when you sit still, you are effectively starving your cartilage. You're dehydrating it.
So motion literally feeds the joints.
Precisely. And then, metabolically, that stagnation causes system-wide trouble. Hormone regulation gets messy, inflammation goes up.
And you get that cascade effect.
The tightness, the weakness, poor posture, that constant fatigue. Your whole nervous system becomes less responsive. It's like putting a dimmer switch on your body.
Let's zero in on that neurological part. You said the nervous system becomes less responsive. There's a key concept here, right? Proprioception.
Yes, proprioception.
We've called it the body's internal GPS. For someone listening, why is that feedback loop so important?
It's your unconscious sense of where your body is in space. It's the reason you can, touch your nose with your eyes closed.
Or pour a glass of water without watching your hand the whole time?
Exactly. That GPS relies on these tiny sensors, especially in your spine and joints, that are constantly firing off high-speed data to the brain.
And if you don't move?
You move less, the feedback gets worse. Both in quantity and in quality, the system just becomes less accurate.
And that shows up as what? Clumsiness.
Clumsiness, maybe tripping more easily, needing to look at your feet when you go downstairs. If your spine, the central highway, isn't moving right, the brain's control over everything diminishes.
Restricted spine, restricted brain communication.
That's the bottom line.
So movement doesn't just help us find our limbs, it's actively boosting our cognitive health. We all know that feeling, right? You feel better after a workout. But what's actually happening? How does motion light up the brain?
Okay, we can break it down into three crucial neurological boosts. First, there's direct activation.
What does that mean?
Movement immediately switches on key brain regions. The motor cortex, the cerebellum, which is coordination central, and the prefrontal areas.
The executive function hubs.
Exactly. Learning, planning, memory, focus. They all get a jolt.
Okay, so that's number one. What's the second component? The mood boosters.
That's it. The second boost is that rush of neurochemicals. We're talking serotonin, dopamine, endorphins.
The classic feel-good ones.
They stabilize your mood, increase focus, and they even act as natural painkillers. It's a huge part of managing stress.
Yeah, the third boost is the one that's often called the brain's fertilizer. That's BDNF.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And this one is maybe the most exciting, especially when you think about longevity.
Why is that?
BDNF is, like you said, high-quality fertilizer for your neurons. It supports neuroplasticity.
The brain's ability to rewire itself.
To form new connections, yeah. Movement tells the brain, hey, I need more capacity here. And BDNF helps the brain grow, repair, and become more resilient to damage and aging.
And when you look at the anti-aging research, this BDNF thing is, well, it's incredibly powerful. There was a huge systematic review from 2024.
Oh, yeah.
It looked at over 2,200 patients who already had a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia.
And the finding was just
Yeah.
was undeniable.
Regular aerobic exercise significantly improved their cognitive function.
And it wasn't just some abstract idea. The research gave us a very concrete, actionable number to shoot for. They saw benefits around 650 to 1,000 meaty minutes per week.
Okay, wait. 650 MET minutes. For the average person listening, what does that even mean? How do we translate that?
That's a great question because nobody thinks in meat minutes. A minute is just a measure of energy cost. To hit that target, you're looking at something like brisk walking, swimming, or some moderate exercise.
So how long?
About 30 to 40 minutes, most days of the week. It's highly achievable.
So even small, consistent efforts drive measurable brain repair.
Clinically significant repair, yes. And it wasn't just memory that got better.
Right. The analysis confirmed that exercise, when they kept it up for at least 16 weeks, it improved cognitive scores, mood, daily function.
And sleep. Better quality and longer duration. It just boosts quality of life across the board.
Which is huge for that population.
Huge. So if movement is the engine for the nervous system, what's the master switch? The thing that controls recovery, calm, and healing.
That brings us to the vagus nerve.
The hidden superpower.
Cranial nerve X. They call it the wandering nerve, right?
Because it's the longest, most complex nerve in the body. It starts in the brainstem and just, yeah, it wanders everywhere.
It really is a superhighway of calm and regulation.
It is. It runs down through the neck, sending fibers to slow the heart rate, control your breathing through the diaphragm, and manage the entire digestive tract.
And it's also tied to inflammation, isn't it?
It's the primary anti-inflammatory pathway for the body. It basically keeps your immune system in balance.
But it's not just a one-way street. With the brain sending orders out, it's a massive feedback loop.
That is an absolutely vital point. The vast majority of it, maybe 80 to 90% of its fibers, are carrying information back to the brain.
So it's telling the brain what's going on.
Constantly. The status of your organs, your gut health, inflammation levels. The other 10–20% send the command to slow down, digest, and heal. And the quality of that communication is what we call vagal tone.
Okay, define vagal tone for us. Because that sounds like the key metric for recovery.
It's basically how quickly your nervous system can switch gears from stress back to calm. High vagal tone means you recover fast, you digest well, you have balanced inflammation.
And low vagal tone.
That's when you feel perpetually stressed, bloated, emotionally reactive. It's that feeling of being wired but tired.
Oh, I think everyone listening knows that feeling. That humming anxiety where your body's exhausted, but your brain just won't shut off. You can't settle, even when you try to rest.
Precisely. It's a diminished ability to self-regulate. And modern life is just constantly working against our vagal tone. Forward head posture from our phones, chronic stress.
Old injuries like whiplash.
All of it. It creates tension right where this crucial nerve exits the skull, at the craniocervical junction.
And that tension must act like putting a kink in the hose.
It does. It turns down the volume on the body's healing system. You don't get an acute illness, maybe, but you notice digestion is never quite right, or you feel run down for days after a stressful week. It's a low-level system failure.
And this is where the structure and movement piece just snaps right into place. Since this nerve exits at the very top of the neck, what is the link between the vagus nerve and those top two bones, C1 and C2?
The anatomy there is incredibly unforgiving. That junction at the top of your neck, the base of the skull, C1, C2, it's a very tight, sensitive area. The vagus nerve is physically sandwiched right there.
So any misalignment.
A shift of even just 2 or 3 millimeters creates mechanical tension. You said it perfectly. It's like putting a physical kink in the master regulator wire.
And we already said the spine is a sensory organ. If C1 and C2 are stuck, that dampens the quality of that proprioceptive signal going to the brain.
Exactly. Fluid spinal motion sends high-quality input. Restriction right at that foundation messes with the input. And because the vagus nerve is right there, the effects just cascade through the whole body.
And it doesn't just cause neck pain. We saw evidence that when the upper neck is out of alignment, the whole body has to compensate to keep your head level.
That's the body's brilliance and its burden. If the head tilts a tiny bit because of a shift at C1, the body has to build a crooked foundation underneath it to keep your eyes on the horizon.
So the hips tilt, the shoulder hikes up.
And that's why someone gets chronic low back pain or a knee issue, but the real source of the problem started way up in the neck, where they might not have even felt any pain.
So let's talk intervention. What does the research say about care that aims to restore motion and alignment right there in the upper neck? Does it actually shift us out of fight or flight?
The evidence is compelling, and the speed of the change is what's really revolutionary.
How so?
Well, targeted cervical adjustments restore that motion and remove the nerve interference. Clinical trials measured heart rate variability, or HRV.
The gold standard for vagal tone.
Right. And they found that these adjustments increased parasympathetic, or recovery activity, by a significant 31%
Wow.
within minutes.
A 31% immediate increase in recovery mode. That is a phenomenal finding for anyone dealing with chronic stress.
It really changes the conversation about stress management. And another trial measured physical stress markers like cortisol in your saliva.
Yeah.
And they found those levels drop 25% post-adjustment. It's objective proof of a shift from that sympathetic overdrive to parasympathetic balance. Rest, digest, heal.
So the goal isn't to treat the nerve, but to clear the mechanical roadblocks so the body can do its job.
You're clearing the interference so the body's innate system can function at its best.
Okay, that brings us to practical application. Before someone even seeks care, what are some simple, actionable takeaways to support vagal tone and posture every day?
Since the nerve runs through the neck and chest, we can stimulate it directly. We pulled 3 simple, science-backed things you can do at home right now.
Okay, let's start with the quickest reset. What's number 1?
First is the 30-second cold face dunk, or even just splashing very cold water on your face.
Why does that work?
It triggers something called the mammalian dive reflex. It's a powerful vagal surge that immediately tells your heart rate to slow down. It's a potent nervous system reset.
Simple.
Okay.
And the second activity uses sound.
Yes, deep humming. Using a low VOO or OM sound, the physical vibration in your throat directly stimulates the vagus nerve there.
So you just inhale deep and hum on the exhale.
Oh, for 5 or 6 rounds. Yeah, it's like an internal massage for the nerve.
Yep.
And third, try the 4-6 breath with a gentle neck glide.
How do you do that one?
You just inhale for 4 seconds while slowly tilting your ear toward your shoulder. Then you exhale for 6 seconds as you bring your head back to the center. It gently opens that exit pathway for the nerve.
Those are things anyone can start doing today. But since movement is required maintenance, we have to list those daily posture-focused movements too.
Absolutely. To counteract all that sitting, start with the simplest one, the chin tuck.
Just tucking your chin back like you're making a double chin.
Exactly. Crucial for forward head posture. Second, wall angels. Stand with your back, head, and arms against a wall and slowly raise and lower your arms.
For the upper back and shoulders.
Yes. And for total spinal mobility, the classic cat-cow stretch on your hands and knees.
And what's the last one for reversing that slouch?
The thoracic extension over a foam roller. Lie with the roller under your mid-back, support your head, and just gently extend backward over it to open up the chest. Those 4 moves hit the foundations of healthy alignment.
So what does this all boil down to for the person listening right now? It's not just about feeling better in the moment, is it?
Not at all. It's about accessing your body's inherent power, building resilience from the ground up.
So the core message is what?
The core message is clear. Health isn't achieved by masking symptoms. It's about unlocking your body's natural power to heal itself, its innate intelligence. Our deep dive shows movement feeds the brain, the vagus nerve regulates the calm, and your spinal structure governs the communication between them. The focus has to be on restoring function from the inside out.
Right. Clear the interference so your whole system can just work.
So it can operate at its peak.
So movement is required maintenance, not optional. Not for longevity, not for focus, not for mood. And if a tiny 2-millimeter misalignment at the top of your neck can create such huge communication problems for the entire nervous system, what seemingly small lifestyle habits like poor posture or sitting for 8 hours straight might be quietly inhibiting your body's ability to communicate and to truly thrive.
That's the question.
Go move. Be aware of your alignment and give your nervous system the high-quality signal it needs.